To not waste your time, the model has been given its initial base coats already. Only thing to note is that I stood away from bright colors since I want the model to be in a dark environment. To enhance this, I'll apply some diluted black temper contrast paint all over the model. Normally I would use oil paints, but since contrast paints have become so common in the hobby scene, I figure I'd use one of mine. I ended up applying 2 coats to get to my desired result, where the recess is darkened down and everything else still has a hint of the color underneath. To work on the effect, I'll be using these 3 colors. First off, I'll block out the light source with light green, which will be my middleman between darker and lighter points. 2 thin coats were applied to get a solid, homogeneous base. And here we can begin to see how much it stands out against the lack of value of the model. Moving on, I'll dilute some dark green to a glaze consistency, and begin working on the first sketch of the reflections. I'll make sure to remove any excess paint so I can apply this thin coat in a controlled way, so as to avoid paint pooling and creating undesired coffee stains. As I begin applying the first layer of paint, I have to keep in mind that light travels in a straight line, so to know where the OSL will reach and where it won't. With that in mind, I'll begin small and with the obvious reflections, everything that's close or directly exposed to the flame or smoke. When working with this technique, remember that the effect will begin to take shape slowly, and for this first layer we are just looking to map out the lights, so don't get frustrated if you don't see it coming along at first. Just follow the process till the end and evaluate your results then. The scenic base of this model is not something you'll often find when working on models holding a flame or a lamp, which are the more common ones for OSL painting, but it will provide me with a great way to showcase how I layer the lighter colors towards the light source, though that will come up in a bit. So for now, I'm just following that mapping process, which due to being right next to the smoke, implies most of the rocks will get painted at least with this first layer of paint. Here is a look at how the model is coming along. Nothing special so far, but again, let's not worry about it and follow the process till the end. After a first single layer of paint, I decided to enhance some parts which were particularly close to the light source with a second coat. Though this is optional, so feel free to skip it if you want to, because for the next step I'll be hitting those spots with another layer of paint, this time mixing the dark and light green in equal amounts, again to a glaze consistency. Once again, the excess is removed for a controlled application. But this time, apart from the close spots which will be painted all over, there will be others which are not as close where we can begin to create a slight transition. This can be achieved through, for example, painting maybe half a rock or just the edge of the cloak. If you choose to apply that second layer of dark green, then now you have some elements with a single layer, others with 2, and now the third can be added within the second for a transition I was talking about. Take your time with this layer, since it'll be the one which ties up the light source with the reflections. Focus on the elements very close to the light first, and then take a look and decide if you want to extend the reflection a bit more or not. Here is how the model is looking so far, and to finish up the quote-unquote shadows of the OSL, I'll go back to my dark green, this time even more diluted than before. And with this thinner glaze, I will on one hand blend the transitions together, and on the other extend the OSL and add a new layer of reflection, or rather half a layer towards the ends. This glaze once dry should provide only but a hint of color, nothing quite noticeable but that you know it's there. If you feel like a single layer had close to no effect, then try a second one but no more than that. Like I said, this is a very subtle step which does more the less it stands out. Over on the rocks, I decided to be a bit more messy and carefree since they won't be one of the eye-catching elements of the model. After reaching this point, the fun begins. I'll be mixing light green and yellow green in equal amounts alongside not too much water. The consistency I'm going for is neither a wash or a glaze, but rather something a bit thicker. To have this mix set in the inner parts of the smoke and flame, I'll first apply a layer of water over the surfaces. This will help the lighter color remain within those inner parts where it shines the most, without altering the raised details. If you are a recurrent viewer, you have seen me use this technique before for pin washing. It also works wonders when working on fire or smoke surfaces such as this one, allowing normal acrylics to behave in the same way as a wash, saving us from having to go buy specific tones such as this one, which is a bit more exotic. With this jump in brightness, we can really appreciate the dark ambience of the piece. And it had to happen that I'd forget to turn on the recording at some point. But anyway, I'll apply the pure yellow-green in the same manner as before to top it off, but more selectively. Not over all the smoke, but here and there to represent some maximum points of light source. Here is how the model is looking, and I can tell there is a bit of a jump between the source and the first reflections. So now that I'm looking at the model all together with its brighter and darkest points, I'll fix the so important first reflections of light green, till I reach a tone of my liking. Remember that no reflection can be brighter than its source, so going up to pure light green, just like the source, is a no-go if you aim for a realistic result. Unless metallic surfaces are involved, which can reflect a higher amount of brightness. But for this video, I'm keeping it simple and friendly towards intermediate painters or even beginners who want to put their skills to the test. Here is the finished model. I hope this video encourages you to try out this technique, or if you're having trouble with it, it helps you out in achieving a result which satisfies you. Like always, I want to give a special thanks to my patrons Alexis C and Kayob, which provide me with that extra support each month. That is it for today's video, but for those interested, I'd like to let you know about my plans moving on. I've noticed many new subscribers joining due to my old world content. As of now, I'm looking to finish an army by the end of March. A video showcasing the journey of the project will be coming out then. Also, with the release of each faction, being Orcs the next one, I do plan to do a series on videos showcasing their proper how to paint and technique videos. In the meantime, I'll be posting mixed videos on other games, techniques and so on. So if you'd like to see something in particular, like always, do let me know in the comments. With that said, if you are still here, thank you for watching.